moving on to our next category. Break out the feels, everybody.
Yeah, it's time for the emotional roller coaster. Um, this is another category that I'm not sure is gonna come back because I honestly had a hard time like deciding what games to put on it and whether they really felt like they should be in the category. And I mean, there's one that was inarguable, and I'll bet all of you at home can guess what it was. But the my other two were kind of I mean, they're games that definitely made me feel things, but I I don't know where I was going exactly with this category. I think it's another one where I was trying to be too different when I was coming up with the ideas. I was like, oh yeah, like best drama, emotional roller coaster game. But
Yeah,
maybe Johnny's picks will be a little better than mine. In
arguable.
bronze, yeah. Well, we'll find out. In third place, and it's a thing where this is definitely a category where I actually had to have played the games, and this is where it comes out that I only played so many games this year, and I didn't have all the time in the world to beat them. So number 3, Hollow Knight, because it's fucking sad. And spoiler, well, nah, I won't spoil the ending. The true ending, any of the endings are really sad, and just the world that Hollow Knight lives in, it's so desolate, and like it's so
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic and sad. And like you see this, there's a point in the game where you get to the City of Tears, Tears, not like tier lists. And it's just so sad. Like there's just rain, coming down everywhere, and it's just deserted and empty, and like you can see how beautiful this place used to be, how impressive this city
Yeah.
built by insects was once. And you're such a late comer to this party. And like when you find out your character's origin, and as you learn more and more about what's going on with the game's world, it just gets more and more like really like deeply sad. And the few characters that you do run into, when their stories do not go happily, it can really get you, just because there's so few of them, and they're so precious in this empty, desolate world that's full of essentially zombified bugs, that when you do find somebody who's sentient and sane and like has it together, they're so precious. And then things happen, and yeah. So Hollow Knight, number 3. Number 2, Yakuza 0. Which a lot of it comes down to seeing the brotherhood between Kiryu and Nishiki, and like where they were at one time before the events of Yakuza 1, which I was already familiar with going into this game. So it really, if you know the Yakuza franchise, seeing this prequel can be really heartbreaking. And that's just for the main, like, for Kiryu and Nishiki. Majima's entire storyline, where he goes from sort of a semi well-adjusted human being who kind of has his shit together to Majima. It's just, you're watching a man just lose it, and it's sad and happy at the same time. It's very bittersweet, and just the amount, both like everybody gets fucked in this game so bad, it's a raw deal all around.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like a lot of the side quests in Yakuza 0. Some of them can be pretty intense. There's a woman, like, there's one about a woman who wants you to rescue her daughter from a cult, for example. And it's mostly played for laughs, and it's a lot more like lighthearted, but there's still kind of that core, deep, that seed deep down inside the whole thing, where it's like an Aum Shinrikyo thing, and they're clearly making a statement about this stuff. And, there's another one about a guy who had to go into witness protection and he had to leave his wife and kid behind. And, oh man, there's one about a kid who, like, he's in line for a video game and he waits all day to get this game. And then somebody, like, steals it from him on the street and you have to, like, get the game back. And the resolution of that story is so goddamn sweet and cute and fucking adorable. Yakuza 0, like, there's a lot of, very, very heartstring tugging little stories within the game, on top of the main story of watching, these two bros who aren't going to be bros forever, broing it up through, like, the whole game, and watching a sort of decent guy become just an absolute madman. So yeah, Yakuza 0, it's a hell of a game. And at number 1, because I only played like 4 games this year, Nier Automata, because sad robots.
Yeah.
Fucking done. Yeah, I think I already kind of talked about it a lot in the games as art video. So if you want to go back and watch that, a couple days ago or weeks ago, whatever release schedule we're on, Nier Automata. So many of the side quests are so tragic. The whole game is tragic. Everything's fucking sad. The world is destroyed. It's all just robots and aliens and alien robots, and none of them know how to live or how to be people, and they're all trying. And man, it's a bummer. That game can really bring you down.
Oil rigs as monsters.
Yeah, just entire walking oil derrick as an enemy that only fights you because it was told to, and later laments it. That's an actual sub-story. That's a storyline in the game, is you can fight one of those giant angles, like factory-sized robots, and disable it in terms of combat, and then it'll just talk to you. And when you hear its story, fuck, dude. You're gonna feel bad for shooting up all them robots.
Yeah, more than likely.
It's a game that really makes you feel for, like, even your enemies in the game. The robots that you're fighting. So many of them are actually pretty human. It'll mess you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So my picks for the emotional roller coaster award. At number 3, Resident Evil 7, believe it or not. Just because, yeah, there's the whole, like, we could call this sort of the feels award almost, but at the same time, you're going into a shack in the middle of the woods to basically save your wife at one point, and then you get scared shitless for 6 hours.
Yeah. There's definitely an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, because you always
that choice
have that, like, the hope
end.
in the back of your head. You're like, he's going to save her, right? He's going to save her. Meanwhile, your arm's getting chainsawed off.
Yeah.
It goes every spectrum of emotion gets hit at some point during that, and it's so well done.
Yeah.
It focuses on the fear part for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
What's it?
But I mean, like, the story of the Bakers turns out to be really tragic. The whole storyline, like, everybody, again, it's like everybody's fucked and it's nobody's fault, other than maybe, like, whatever company the guy's wife initially works for. Because yeah, it's, man, I should have thought of that. Can we do an edit? Can I, like, go back and, like, change Hollow Knight to Resident Evil 7? Because I might, now that I think about it, that's, like, kind of a better choice. My whole...
Hollow Knight was a good choice, too, because of what it is. It's, like, the game starts off and it's just this, like, wasteland. You're like, what? And everyone's just gone underground. And, like, yeah, you do... Like, you first meet the cartographer and you're like, I just want to hug you because you're real.
Yeah. That's how you feel every time you meet a character in that game. Is just, you're not trying to, oh my god, you're not trying to kill me. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Except Zote, he can suck a dick. But yeah, fucking, that's a good goddamn choice. I wish I'd thought of it. Resident Evil 7.
At number 2, this one is a little less about the content of the game and more of the socio-political climate that it's being released into, and that is Wolfenstein II: The New Colossus.
Yeah.
That sort of story of, America's last hope is a bunch of underground, a badass like BJ Blazkowicz, in everything that he goes through. And, nothing to me will be any more sad than Jimmy.
Oh my god. I literally couldn't play the game after that. I got to that point.
I'm getting choked up about it now, fuck.
Yeah.
That fucking floored me.
I got to that point in the game and I was so distraught and unhappy and that it got me so deep that I actually gave up on the game. Not actively I'm not going to play this fucking game if they're going to kill Jimi Hendrix, but so many people died, and I was so heartbroken and hopeless after that sequence of the first game of the New Order that I never actually got back and finished it. So yeah, the only reason New Colossus. Yeah, the only reason it didn't make it onto my list is just I haven't played it yet. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have, because I know I've been avoiding spoilers like the plague. For that game,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
This one I really want to play.
Those sort of moments they don't skimp on them as they keep moving forward. Just the characterization and the hope and tragedy that story tells is just fucking incredible.
Yeah. Man, your choices are way better than mine.
And at number 1, just the true tragedy that this, just the weird sort of tragedy this game tells is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah.
And just the way it's all portrayed, and you really feel everything about the Finch family, and it makes you feel every corner of the spectrum. Is that the word I'm looking for? I hope so. And yeah, we'll go with that. It's points. You hit all the points.
Yeah. You're all over the tier grid.
And in some points, even. Literal tier grid. But I see New Colossus up at number 1, and I actually come to think of it, I probably should have. Retrospectively, all 3 of those games, those are I love when games really make you feel more than just, I'm playing a video game. The first time I played Heavy Rain.
Oh,
fuck.
Yeah.
That game fucked with me.
It's heavy.
Rain.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I think, I want to keep this category emotional roller coaster, because I feel like games, especially if they're well written, the Wolfenstein games and Edith Finch, you get so much time to get attached to characters in video games. In a movie, you get 2 hours or whatever at most to really start liking somebody. And in a game, you can get, dozens of hours to get, accommodated with a character and get, used to them and get to know them. And on top of that, they can be part of your, experience. They can be an AI, backup buddy helping you out, making it part of the gameplay. And, you can really get attached to somebody.
And I think that's why just me as a consumer of entertainment loves this as a medium, is because, and even, and books do it as well, because you actually do get to be with this character through, however long it takes you to read a book. I know some people can fly through books in 3 hours. I have no idea how you do that.
Yeah.
but the idea of like being able to interact for some of these like 20, 30, 40-hour games with some of the most well-written, well-acted, well-portrayed characters is like that's why I
Yeah.
love the medium so much, and I love where the medium has gone since 1984 when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I think this is a category we're gonna have to keep, but just I need to be better at it. I need to feel more. I need to be a human being. God damn it.
I love my stories like that. That will sell me games. Is like the story in this game is amazing. Cool, I'm fucking playing it. Like God of War 3, the action was great, but I wanted to know if it actually ended the way he wanted it to end.
Yeah.
But like the ending of God of War 2, where it left you on a cliffhanger and wait for 4 years while the next game came out. Dicks.
Yeah. But at least it came out.
Point.
Uh,